Hello, YouTube. It is I, Mooey slash George, or whatever you want to call me, here with a deck profile on one of my favorite decks, my pet deck of the current Digimon TCG metagame, and that is Lilithmon X. This is arguably my favorite deck of the current format because I feel like it just plays super controlly, slash tempo-y, and is a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of the Dark Animal engine. I'm a big fan of Dark Demon Lords, and I got really bored of just playing actual 7th grade Demon Lords. So I decided, fuck it, I'm just gonna use uh, Lilithmon X and have a lot of fun with it, and it's been a blast. I've been piloting this deck since the card came out, and even when it got announced, I was testing a lot of it on Sims and just having a blast with it. So I wanted to share uh, my list with you guys. If you have any criticism, any like differences in lists or whatever you would want to like share overall, please let me know in the comments. I'm open to criticism and ideas. And let me know if this video was helpful for you at all when it came to your list or any ideas with Lilithmon X. I think it's a fun deck. Shout outs to the Digimon TCG Discord and the Lilithmon channel. It is where you can get a lot of tech for this deck from a lot of players who are a big fan of the archetype. Hopefully, it gets support in the future, but if not, I still think it's a solid deck. So let's get into it. First things first, we're going to show off our tokens. This is from Mana Moon. Shout outs to them. Same with the mat. So there's that. But for the Tama, pretty easy Tama to start off with. It is the Sunamon at 4, and this is the only Tama in the deck. Pretty good card in that you're always going to get draw power with this because everything from the low end just draws one, trashes one. A really useful card, just makes it really, really easy to cycle through your deck. Next, for our rookies. Rookies are pretty standard as well for like a Dark Animal style engine. So we're going to go with the 4 Goblimon. This is your best rookie, probably the rookie you want to see opening hands, because it's pretty much like the way you set up your very cheap line of you draw a card, trash a card, and then you gain a memory. So ideal rookie to start off with. If not, you typically want to see this rookie instead, which is the Ignite Crossheart, which is pretty important for later. It's on, or not it's on play, but it's when attacking is actually kind of useful in this deck too. I'll explain that later. But your any turn inheritable is really strong because again it activates on any turn, which is uh, when a Digimon is played from your trash, you gain a memory. So it's very 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 strong. Just for not only like gaining memory efficiency back, but also kind of playing on your opponent's turn. If like something triggers that lets you play Digimon on their turn, you gain a memory on their turn. So really good. I've stolen turns like that before. It's pretty powerful. We play 3 Floodgate rookies, 2 Gazimon, 1 Psychmon. This card is like pseudo necessary for the metagame, and this card is really good into a lot of matchups. I have no qualms with this ratio. Although I can see why someone would want to play like 2 Psychmon or just like 3 Gazimon, 1 Psych. You know, I like this ratio personally. I'm not complaining about it. Gazimon's very, very good as well because you can play Deltamon with it as well to make like a cheaper level 4 that just pops something. I don't play Deltamon in this list personally, so that's why I'm not really focusing on that. But yeah. And then our last rookie is the Goblimon. It has Retail as its ESS, but its on play is really strong for this deck because it effectively just deletes one of your Digimon, which can trigger a lot of our top end effects, which again, I will explain once we get there. Next is our champion Digimon, our level 4s. We have 4 Doberman X Antibody, really strong dog package Digimon. On Evo for 2, draw 1, trash 1. And then it has the on play of give one of your Digimon Retail, which is pretty good. And if this thing has X Antibody or Doberman under it, you get its on play when Digivolving. So really, really strong. Its ESS is also pretty good. When you play a Digimon by effect, you gain a memory on your turn. So really, really good. Just again, an engine, like just engine to like cycle through your cards really quick, set up your trash, and then make a stack really efficiently. Ogremon, two of them. I typically played three before, but I had to make some concessions for space, and this was the card that I considered cutting by one, and it's still really good. When a card is trash, you get a memory, and it's the same as the ESS as well. Just really good. Good to bring back with some of your effects. Just sit on it. If you have something that trashes by effect that you can play, you get a memory just for having it. And then if you Evo over this and then you play something that trashes again, you just gain another memory. So really efficient card to climb with. Next, we have the two Structure Deck 10 Gatomons. This is a tech I think every version of this deck should play. I don't think this is something you just opt out of playing because it's so fucking good. Uh, it's on play, which you don't typically want to play it for 5 memory. That's really inefficient. But on play, you search your top 3, add 1 yellow and 1 purple Digimon to hands. So it could, in theory, grab itself or another yellow card if you play them. And it has the your turn. If this Digimon were to Digivolve into a fallen angel, you can reduce the cost of that Digivolution by 2. So it's really good to Evo into something like Lady Devi X, Lady Devimon, which is going to be the 5s I'm going to be talking about, that and make them super cheap. Also, because it's level 4 and this deck can play level 4s pretty easily, you can just play it for free via one of your effects, and then you'll just have a really efficient stack to get into that can also just shit out bodies. I love this deck. It's incredibly genius. I remember seeing this, and I think like the Glasgow regional winner from a couple of months ago. He was playing Lilithmon, and he teched this in, and it was genius. I think this is like an amazing tech. And then finally, we play one Ginkakumon Promote. We needed a rusher in the deck. You could play Guilmon instead, or you can play the Black Gatomon, the black yellow one that had, or the purple yellow one, excuse me, that has Rush. I could see playing the Black Gato one because you do have the Searcher Gatomon, so you can technically grab that plus another purple Digimon. But Ginkakumon is just really good because number one, you just play it, right? You just play a level 4, and then it has Rush. Number 2, it evos for 2 and 1 if you have a level 4 as well. So it actually comes really clutch if you like, let's say you play level 4 and then you just evo for 1 and then you have a rusher now. It's really, really strong. Just for closing out games and chipping if you really need to. Next, we're going to go into our ultimates. And ultimates are pretty basic for this list. It's nothing crazy. And I kind of spoiled it earlier, but 4 Lady Devimon, and then 4 Lady Devimon X Antibody. These cards are incredible in this deck. Lady Devimon is effectively, from BT3, a pot of greed / graceful charity, whatever you want to call it, from Yu-Gi-Oh! And it also has the ESS of when a option is played, you can pop a level 3 Digimon. So you can actually pop one of your opponent's rookies that are like floodgates or something, and just, it's really good, right? But the Lady Devimon X is amazing. It's evos over Lady Devimon for free, obviously. And also, if this Digimon has X Antibody or Lady Devimon under it, when Digivolving, you can play out a token, which is this thing over here. And the token has blocker, retail, is 5k, and is a level 4. So really, really good. Just spawning a body for free. You'll get memory back from your like Doberman X's or your Ignite-mons that you have under it. And then you get a body for free that has blocker, retail. So very scary for your opponent. They kind of have to answer this typically by either suspending it or deleting it. And then if they delete it when you have a full stack, you get a lot of effects off because of it. And then also it has the when Digivolving effect of you give one of your opponent's Digimon until the end of their turn. End of attack, delete one Digimon, or delete this Digimon. So you effectively tag them with, if you want to swing with that Digimon, you have to delete it at the end of the attack. Really, really strong for controlling the board, kind of slowing their momentum. And it is also an effect that gives the Digimon the effect. So any protection effect, like let's say Dominimon, Um, I forget what else has like a self protection effect, but Dominimon's the one that comes to mind. It can't save itself because it is by its own effects. So really, really strong for getting around those type of pesky effects. And next, we're gonna go into our level sixes. We play two Lady Lilithmon from EX6. This is my favorite Lilithmon because it is just a really powerful mega. You give one of your opponent's Digimon end of turn delete this Digimon, which is incredible. It can prevent itself from being removed from the board by deleting another level 5 Digimon. It doesn't matter where it is on the board, if it's on your side or your opponent's. It can just delete it to prevent itself from leaving the board. And then on the opponent's turn, if a Digimon is deleted, that isn't itself obviously, you can trash your opponent's security. So really, really good. Just for chipping their security, giving something end of turn delete. But really, the star of this deck, obviously, is Lilithmon X Antibody, which I don't know where the other one went. Where the hell did it go? Uh-oh. Here it is. Okay. Lilithmon X Antibody. This card is insane. Has insane sticking power because that removal protection effect that Lilithmon has, she has on any Digimon. Doesn't matter the level. She doesn't have a level restriction on it. And then she has two effects that are really good. If a Digimon is deleted on your turn, you can play a level 4 or lower purple Digimon from your trash for free. And then if you have a Digimon deleted on your opponent's turn, they trash the top of their security. So again, more security pinging. Playing a Digimon by effect is super strong. And I actually forgot to mention this. The Lady Devimon X's ESS does the same thing. If on your opponent's turn, if your opponent's Digimon is deleted, you can play a level 4 lower purple Digimon from your trash. Really, really good for just constantly spawning bodies. You can easily overwhelm your opponent if they don't have an out to this, and if you just keep spawning bodies and trashing their security, this thing like just wins the game off of like battle of attrition. It's really, really strong. And again, the prevention of removal effect is really good because you can utilize, which is why I'll explain this now, something like Ignite-Mon. If you have an Ignite-Mon on board that can attack, when attacking, attempt to target Lilithmon X to delete whatever corresponding level, but instead of deleting it, you use Lilithmon's trigger effect or interruption effect rather to target something else to delete, right? Same thing with this Goblimon. We played this Goblimon for the same reason. You hard play Goblimon, or you play it via her own effects. Attempt to delete Lilithmon, use Lilithmon's protection to delete something else. The only thing that stops this is Digivolving, obviously, and then raiding or blitzing into this. So you can't really save yourself from attacks or Digivolve, but we do have some answers to at least like attacking into Lilithmon, which I'll explain later. But again, super powerful card. Super powerful top end. One Anubismon and one Mervamon. This is pretty obvious for anybody that knows about the Anubis package. This card is broken, and this card is broken with Anubis. This is why we put a cross-art cards, because we just effectively use Anubis to make this for super cheap. Play out our cross hearts, which are Ignite-Mon, and then they gain Blocker and Rush. And also you could play the Dobermon X to also gain Blocker and Rush. You can play out your Goblimon with the Reach Out inheritable and just Evo over something, and then it has Rush, right? Like this is a super heavy swarm for game type of card if you can retain the memory. And this card is just effectively broken. If this card keeps on board, if your opponent can't out this, I don't know how they win. Like it just swarms the board too effectively. It pops cards, it draws you cards. It's really good. Should be banned. Like straight up should be banned. And then we have two level 7s. We have the Beelzemon Ace that came out recently. Really strong Ace card for this deck. One of the only outs, like I said, to Lilithmon X is attacking into it with something like Raid or Blitz. And a pretty common situation you'll find yourself in is like Medieval Gallantmon, suspend your Lilithmon X and something else, pop the other target, and then swing into Medieval Gallant. This is like your only way of kind of dealing with that situation, ultimately. So, really strong card for that situation, as well as you can technically prevent deck out with it as well. But mostly you're just using it for its ace when digivolving. And then one ruin mode. I think this card's pretty obvious because you have so much sticking power with Lilithmon. If you see your opponent trying to just set up a board for next turn and you don't have game next turn, you can just Evo over your Lilithmon stack with ruin mode and just kind of stun them. And then you'll probably have like another turn or two to actually set up another Lilith stack anyways. It's super fucking degenerate. It's really good. Stolen so many games with just going into Lilithmon, sitting on it, and then going into ruin mode. And that is it. Oh, also, fun fact, this is a yellow card, so you can actually search it off of that Gatomon as well, which is really funny. But that is it for the Digimon. We are going to go into the options. I'm going to reveal these first. We're going to go with 7th Fascination. This card is really good. Okay, I got a phone call randomly. This card is insanely good. This card effectively lets you out a lot of Digimon that are super problematic on board. A big, quick update on people who might not know what this effect actually does. Basically, for 7 memory, or if you activate it from the trash via digivolving into Lilithmon X, you give all of your opponents a blanket, or all of your opponents' Digimon a blanket effect of end of turn, delete a Digimon. So I've seen this happen, and technically, if your opponent asks this, you were supposed to give them the right information. But let's say your board is something like this, right? Your opponent's board is this, right? And then you activate 7th Fascination, and their end of turn happens. You can just use Goblimon first to delete Ignitemon, and Ignitemons when end of turn does not activate because it's not on the board anymore. So you don't have to clear your board with this, unless in a lot of scenarios, if you have 2 in trash, you delete the whole board typically, because they just can't deal with multiple activating at the same time. So yeah, again, really strong option though, because it is just removal that your opponent has to play around. It's very hard to like play around this card, and also if you tag other Digimon on the board with like Lilithmon or Lady Devi X or another option I play, which I'll reveal right after this, it's super hard to deal with this card. It typically like just makes your opponent like pass turn. Sometimes you'll hit an ace with this and just gain a ton of memory. It's like really good. Phantom Pain, we're playing the one of Phantom Pain. I didn't like this card at first, and I've come around to it now simply because it is just for fairly cheap cost, like 4 costs. You're giving your opponent's Digimon end of turn delete, which just basically means that shit's gone next turn, and the delay is pretty good too, just for having like fairly cheap removal. It's good. I don't think I would run more than one of this, and I don't think I would continue running it past the meta where I don't feel it's like super necessary. Next we're playing 2 X antibody protoform, 1 normal X antibody. I have 4 protoform, so don't think I'm being cheap here. It's just I don't like the fact that protoform doesn't stay under the Lilithmon X if it is being attempted to be deleted or removed. But it's super good just because it makes cheaper Evos. With Gatomon plus Lady Debbie X, it's actually a free Evo, just straight up, because you're reducing it by 1 and Gatomon reduces it by another 2. The X antibody obviously is better in a lot of scenarios where you just don't want to be source stripped. So against blue decks, it can be really, really good. But also, like, if there are multiple things that are like trying to pop on board, having X antibody just under your Lilithmon and just not having to worry about like only having the prevention of deletion once is really good. Overall, I think both cards are good, and I could see the argument of just running 4 of the X antibodies in general. I like 3 because I just like having more space for other options too. And I think this recycling itself from security is really good to kind of keep an X antibody tempo going. Next, we have 1 purple memory boost, 1 purple scramble, and then 4 wisdom training. This is pretty standard. If I wasn't playing the options that I'm playing, which is like the 7th Fascination and the Phantom Pain, I'd probably run 2 purple scramble. This card's super good just for kind of rebuilding and getting certain pieces that you need. And this purple memory boost, I'd probably put it to as well. just for more efficiency with memory and for searching certain pieces that you need. But this is still really good. You typically find your pieces and build fairly easily with like 1 or 2 wisdom training or like scramble plus wisdom, etc. You can't really go wrong with that ratio. And then finally, the last card is your Calling from the Darkness. This card is bonkers in this deck, like straight up broken. If you have a Lilithmon X stack and you use Calling, delete one of your Digimon. Attempt to delete Lilithmon. Lilithmon pops something else instead, and then you still get the adding the 2 Digimon from trash to hand. That's insane. That is actually crazy. Like it's a 1 cost removal card. This is a 1 cost Biting Crush or a 1 cost like Gaia Force. Like that's fucking wild. And I've just annihilated like stacks when I have like a Lilithmon and I just hit them with the Calling from the Darkness. Pay 1 memory to delete something basically, and then I get triggers off of that with Lilithmon X. It's fucking incredible. Like this card, if this was at more than 1, this would be insane. It'd be an insane combination of cards. But that is it for the Lilithmon deck. It is my favorite deck of the current format. I think it played into the previous format a little bit better, just because like I didn't like the fact that Purple Hybrid was so common, and this deck actually kind of plays into Purple Hybrid fairly decently because you have like the control aspect of your Lilithmon. Like if they die into security or if they kill themselves, you're chipping them and playing bodies out. But also you had this card, or rather the token, to like have a blocker. They can't really just chip for free with their rookies or with Velgramon typically. So it was really, really good into that format because you mostly saw that. But now that you're seeing like Gallantmon X, which is like a really hard Digimon to get over because of the Blitz and because of just its protection effect on your turn typically, and then also like other decks that more focus around de-digivolving now, or cards that have de-digivolve in its text that just naturally get around this. And then the biggest one, Medieval Gallantmon, just kind of outing this in general. Like, unless you have the ace in hand, you cannot deal with Medieval Gallantmon, which is like the biggest issue for this deck. And I hope Medieval Gallantmon actually gets hit to 1 at some point because of that, so we just don't see it as much in like opening hands. Outside of that, this deck is like a solid tier 2 in my opinion. You should give it a shot. I think it is a fun, like dark animal, like rotation of cards deck. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I don't know why I flipped this over. I'm sorry. Let me know what you guys think of the build, and I hope you like my deck profile. I'll be probably putting up my other decks that I'm currently playing right now. I have a Bloomlord deck that I'll probably also show off, as well as working on a Gigaseedramon deck and a purple red virus Imperial list as well. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and show me your list too if you have a Lilithmon deck that you are also building or have been playing. I would love to see what other people play. Take care, guys, and have a great rest of your week.